Okay, welcome everyone. My name is Jim Reichman and I'm the chair of the board of directors of the Creston District Credit Union, and it's my pleasure to welcome everyone to the 69th annual general meeting. I would now like to call this meeting to order. This is the second time that we are conducting our annual general meeting digitally using Zoom. It is our hope that our membership will join us this evening again from the comfort of their home. This is a very safe way to conduct ourselves in groups during these trying and uncertain times. We will be moving fairly quickly through our agenda this evening. The routine motions that we have this evening have been moved and seconded by a member of the board in order to simplify the use of our technology. We will have a slide for you to view for each of the motions. There will be time, 30 seconds after each motion, that you can enter your comments or question in the chat. The photos we are using tonight in our AGM presentation are taken by local credit union members. Credits of the photos will be posted on our website. We do live in a very special and beautiful valley. We have some guests this evening, and I would like to introduce them. Ashley Ruggiero, partner of Grant Thornton. Stuart Grant, Senior Manager of Grant Thornton. Lauren Mann, Notary Public of Mann and Vanderhyde. Judy Mack, Director of Risk and Financial Analyst, British Columbia Financial Services Authority. Akina Wong, Senior Risk and Financial Analyst, British Columbia Financial Authority, and other guests. It is my pleasure this evening to introduce to you your board of directors. Vice President Rob Simpson, Secretary Carrie Czar, Director Karen McTeary, Director Don Tarrant, Director Rick Manichello, Director Don Lowe, and myself, Jim Reichman, your president. So the 2020 committee structure. The executive committee was myself, board president chair, Rob, vice president chair, Carrie, secretary, conduct review committee, chair, Carrie, Carol McTeary, Don Lowe, audit and risk committee, Rick is the chair, Don, Rob Simpson, credit committee, Don is the chair, Carol, Carrie, and Rick, investment and loan committee, Don, chair, Rob and Carrie, governance and HR committee, myself, the chair, Carol, Don, and Rob, nominating committee, Don, chair, Rob, Rick, myself, and Carrie. Ascertainment of quorum. The requirement is 35, and we have tonight's attendance is.
Tonight we have 101 attendees, 9 of which are panelists. That's including guests.
So we have 101 attendees and 9 panelists.
So 110.
110. So rules of order for a virtual meeting. The annual general meeting will be conducted in accordance with the electronic attendance of the credit union meetings COVID-19. Order of the Minister of Public Safety and Solicitor General, Ministerial Order M138, and to the extent not inconsistent therewith, the Credit Union Incorporation Act, rules of the Creston District Credit Union, and Robert's Rules of Order. The meeting shall be held electronically via Zoom. The meeting will be facilitated by a meeting coordinator under the direction of the chairperson. Voting will be conducted electronically by online polling. Once the meeting is called to order, meeting participants will be kept on mute. Participants wishing to comment or have a question on a motion will enter their comment or question in the chat box window and will be answered accordingly. Each electronically registered member shall be entitled to 1 vote. After a motion is put forward for a vote, and the online poll is presented electronically, the members will have 30 seconds to complete and submit the online poll. After a vote is taken, a declaration of the meeting coordinator that a motion or resolution has been carried by the requisite majority shall be conclusive. No person shall record the proceedings of the meeting by use without the permission of the chairperson or the consent of the meeting. We are required by statute to hold an annual general meeting, AGM, each year. The limitations imposed on public gatherings by our public health officials due to COVID-19 necessitate that we hold this year's AGM electronically. Meeting electronically using Zoom is not ideal and is obviously somewhat limiting compared to our normal face-to-face AGM. Our intent is to conduct the required business as simply as possible. If you have questions regarding the meeting or CDCU business that you would like to further discuss, please contact Darlene Nguyen at the credit union and she will direct your question to the appropriate person for a response. CDCU Board of Directors. So motion, rules of order. To accept the rules of order for the April 29th, 2021 CDCU Annual General Meeting. Moved by Don Tarrant, seconded by Carrie Czar. If there's any discussion arising from this motion, please enter your comment or question in the chat now. You'll have 30 seconds. I think Carrie is my timekeeper. Thank you.
Okay, Jim, we have one question from the floor. It's in regards to vote counting. How does the CDCU count members' votes? With to clarify, votes are per person, not per share. I.e., is it living human members present, legal entities who hold shares, or number of shares held by attending members?
So one vote per membership account?
Per member.
Per member.
So if a member has multiple accounts and they're in a corporate account as well,
yes,
they're still only going to be able to vote as one person. However, if they have other signers on their business account or other account, their voters have a right to vote individually as well.
Okay.
But they had to have registered.
Yes.
They would have had to have registered prior, and you have a master list of
yes.
all the members,
yeah.
Correct?
So if a business has 5 signers, those 5 signers had every right to register and attend the meeting and count as 5 votes.
Okay.
However, most businesses did not do that.
Okay. Okay. So please make your vote on this motion to the poll on your screen. You'll have 30 seconds to respond. And we're just waiting for the results.
Waiting for the time.
Waiting for the time. Thank you, John. Time's up. And that motion is carried. Thank you. So the agenda, call to order, introduction, guests and directors, committee structure, ascertainment of quorum, rules of order, adoption of agenda, appointment of parliamentarian. approval of the 2020 AGM minutes, President and CEO's report, financial statement presentation, appointment of the auditor nominating committee report, board of director elections terms and conditions, director elections nominee presentations and election results, good and welfare, presentation of recognition awards, door prize draw and adjournment. That is our agenda this evening. So the motion is to accept the agenda for the April 29th, 2021 CDCU Annual General Meeting, moved by Carol Materi, seconded by Don Tarrant. If there are any additions to the agenda, please enter them in the chat now. You will have 30 seconds. So please make your vote on this motion to the poll. On your screen, you will have 30 seconds to respond.
Reminder that they have to enter questions.
And that motion is carried. Appointment of parliamentarian. Parliamentarian Mr. Lauren Mann of Mann and Vanderhyde, Notaries Public of Creston. This meeting will be following Robert's Rules of Order. Thank you, Lauren. The October 22nd, 2020 68th Annual General Meeting minutes of the Creston District Credit Union via Zoom will now be read by Carrie Czar, Board of Directors Secretary. Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you, Jim. Good evening, everyone, members, panelists, and guests. Creston District Credit Union Annual General Meeting, Thursday, October 22nd, 2020, via Zoom at Creston, BC. Call to order. The 68th Annual General Meeting of the Creston District Credit Union, held virtually via Zoom, was called to order by President Jim Reichman. Introductions. The President introduced the guests invited to attend: James Stewart and Ashley Ruggiero from Grant Thornton, LLP, Karen Cron from BC FSA, and Lauren Mann from Mann and Vanderhyde Notaries Public, as well as the Board of Directors. Ashley Ruggiero from Grant Thornton was unable to attend as planned. President Jim Reichman also presented the 2019 committee structure to the membership. Attendance report. President Jim Reichman announced the attendance for the evening was 52 members and 2 guests, for a total of 54 when the meeting commenced. The President declared a quorum exists and the meeting duly constituted. Final attendance was confirmed via attendance report from Zoom, updated to 62 members and 2 guests, for a total of attendees at 64. Rules of order. President Jim Reichman read the rules of order for virtual meeting. It was upon motion resolved that the rules of order be accepted as presented, moved by Carrie Czar, seconded by Don Tarrant, carried by member Pohl. Agenda. President Jim Reichman read the agenda. It was upon motion resolved that the agenda be adopted as presented, moved by Don Tarrant, seconded by Rob Simpson, carried by member Pohl. Parliamentarian. President Jim Reichman appointed Lauren Mann from Mann and Vanderhyde Notaries Public as parliamentarian. Approval of minutes. Secretary Carrie Czar read the minutes of the 67th Annual General Meeting held April 25th, 2019. It was upon motion resolved that the minutes of the 67th Annual Meeting be adopted as read. Moved by Don Lowe, seconded by Carol Materi, carried by member Poole. Business arising out of the minutes. There was no business arising out of the minutes. President's report. Jim Reichman presented the President's report. It was upon motion resolved that the President's report be adopted as presented. Moved by Don Tarrant, seconded by Rick Minichello, carried by member Poole. President's report continued. Discussion arising from the floor. Susan Senishin, is there a slide for this report? Jim Reichman, it is in the annual report available at the credit union. Question, Daniel Secor. I'm curious as to the details of the digital expansion, login security, etc. Is there any more information available on this? Answer, Lawrence McCordoff. We are working on it right now. The process is relatively new to us, and as we obtain more information, we can update at a later date. CEO's report. Lawrence McCordoff presented the Chief Executive Officer's report. It was upon motion resolved that the Chief Executive Officer's report be adopted as presented. Moved by Carrie Czar, seconded by Rick Minichello, carried by member Poole. Auditor's report. James Stewart of Grant Thornton LLP presented the report of the independent auditor for Creston District Credit Union's 2019 summarized consolidated financial statements. It was upon motion resolved that the auditor's report be adopted as presented. Moved by Don Tarrant, seconded by Rick Minichello, carried by member Poole. Financial statements. Creston District Credit Union 2019 consolidated financial statements are presented in the 2019 annual report. President Jim Reichman stated we're on the Creston District Credit Union website. The full financials are available to view and download, as well as directing members to the branch to pick up a copy of the annual report or the financial statements if desired. It was upon motion resolved that the financial statements be adopted as presented. Moved by Don Lowe, seconded by Don Tarrant, carried by member Poole. Nominating committee report. Director Carol Materi gave the nominating committee report stating the terms of current directors Jim Reichman and Carrie Czar would expire in April 2020. Director Larry Nowick resigned his position in 2019. The nominating committee received notification from both current directors of their intention to seek re-election. A request for nominations was sent out with the AGM notices on January 20th, 2020. The closing date for nominations was February 21st, 2020. Prior to this date, the only nomination received was for Rick Minichello, as there were only 3 vacancies to fill. Jim Reichman, Carrie Czar, and Rick Minichello were declared elected by acclamation. Appointment of auditor. President Jim Reichman recommended that Grant Thornton LLP be appointed as auditors for the ensuing year and that the directors be empowered to fix the audit fees. It was upon motion resolved that Grant Thornton LLP be appointed as auditors for 2020. Moved by Carol Materi, seconded by Rick Minichello, carried by member Poole. Good and welfare. CEO Lawrence McCordoff announced the presentation of awards to staff members. Susan Carmen received a 15-year award, Onyx Pendant. Pat Patterson and Cindy Clausen received 20-year awards, Emerald Pendant. Director Carrie Czar received a 10-year award, Garnet Pendant. President Jim Reichman announced the door prize draw was eligible to all members who registered and attended the 2020 Creston District Credit Union virtual AGM. Winners will be drawn on Friday, October 23rd, 2020, and will be announced on the CDCU website and contacted by phone. Winners declared on Friday, October 23rd, 2020, Kayla Tazakis, $200, Sharon Newton, $300, and Victoria McLaren, $500. President Jim Reichman thanked Darlene Wynn for putting together the virtual AGM presentation, CEO Lawrence McCordoff, Kim Appleton, and all of the staff for their continued and ongoing dedication. He also thanked the Board of Directors for their hard work and our faithful membership for yet another successful year, noting that in 2021, we will be celebrating our 70th anniversary. Discussion arising from the floor. Question. Susan Senishin, do we need to approve the nominating committee report? Answer. Jim Reichman, there is no need to approve the nominating committee report as it is simply a report and there was no election during the AGM this year. Adjournment. It was upon motion resolved that the 2020 Creston District Credit Union virtual annual general meeting be adjourned. Moved by Don Tarrant, seconded by Rob Simpson, carried by member Poole. There being no further business at 8:01 p.m., The president declared the meeting adjourned.
Thank you, Carrie. So the motion is to accept the minutes presented from the 2020 CDCU Annual General Meeting. Moved by Rob Simpson, second by Rick Minicello. If there's any discussion arising from this motion, please enter your comment or question in the chat now. You will have 30 seconds. Please don't raise your hand, enter your question in the chat. So please make your vote on this motion to the poll on your screen. You'll have 30 seconds to respond. And that motion is carried. That motion is carried. So at this time, I would like to give the President's and CEO report. This report could be titled Challenges and Opportunities because that is essentially what the year 2020 represented. Before discussing the year, we want to thank our membership, staff, management, and board of directors for the effort and support in working together through such challenging times. As we eagerly wait for a better turn of events, we recall the saying, hope springs eternal, and we look forward to much better times ahead. Our optimism for the future is supported in the knowledge and comfort of the effort we made in 2020 to work through the challenges and look toward the opportunities that we see before us. The challenges of 2020 related to the pandemic COVID-19 and the disruption to everyone and everything from mid-March onwards. By April, we split our staff, reduced branch hours, and added plexiglass to protect everyone from spreading the disease and ensure continuity of service to members. In July, we restored normal operations with social distancing, enhanced cleaning procedures, and controlled staff to member contact. In late fall, early winter, we added mandatory mask wearing. Presently, we continue to meet challenges as they arise, but with vaccines in early phases of administration, optimism of a return to normal increases every day. While observing health authority rules and regulations, we took the opportunity to look inward and focus on improving our operation. The board enhanced and updated policies and focused on ensuring regulatory matters were updated and observed. Management worked diligently to support the board to improve operations with upgrade IT and communication. Our staff performed very well and worked together, executing our plans through the most challenging of times. As a team, we committed to improve communication internally and retained our focus where it should always be, on meeting our members' needs. Our efforts yielded strong growth in assets, deposits, and loans. Transaction volumes declined as more people observed the health authority recommendations and stayed at home. The U.S. border was closed and remains closed. This impact income and reduction of interest rates affected our investment portfolio as many of our investments rolled into lower yielding instruments. Fortunately, the town remained relatively vibrant in housing and we had significant loan growth, which supported income. This helped to offset lower income in other areas, and our subsidiary insurance and wealth company, Growth Financial, contributed strongly to overall income. All things considered, we are thankful for the result obtained, and this support our board to approve dividend and patronage of $271,000 to the members. Loans grew 9% as economic activity in the community was busy and active in every month except March and April. Assets growth was 13%, which reflected growth in cash and loans. Deposit growth was 15%, which allowed us to safely manage asset growth and retain strong capital adequacy and liquidity ratios. Overall balance sheet growth was strong, and member investments are very safe in a volatile marketplace. Our outlook for 2021 is optimistic for a slow return to normal, though we are wary of any further issues that the pandemic may bring. Part of our strategic plan in 2021 is to modernize our information delivery systems by implementing a new website, online banking, and a new mobile application for our members. We expect this to be ready in Q4 of this year, subject, of course, to further issues and relating to the pandemic. We are grateful that our staff worked so hard in 2020 to support the membership and bring uninterrupted service throughout the year. Thank you to our board for their dedication and service. Thank you to our managers and supervisors for their diligence and hard work throughout. But most of all, our gratitude and thanks to our membership for your continued support in the most challenging of times. Respectfully, Jim Reichman, your president.
So my name is Lawrence McCordoff, and I'm your CEO. I'll start off with a big wow. What a year 2020 has been. I've been in banking 30 years, and I've never experienced such an interesting, perplexing, and challenging year. Yet the irony is, it has been one of our busiest. I'd like to start tonight by expressing my gratitude to our board, management, and staff for their work over the last year. They have performed so well and have contributed so much to the future of our credit union. Our credit union is strong, relevant, and healthy, and we are making good progress toward achieving our goals and initiatives within the strategic plan. My job tonight is to discuss the year from an operations viewpoint and go over some charts showing the progress we've made in 2020. The external auditors will present the full financial statements after my presentation. And lastly, I want to discuss the outlook for 2021 and express our optimism for the future. The next slide shows where our focus of our attention has been in 2020. As you can see, we have been focused on many different areas, and this slide will stay up while I go through each line item one at a time. I'll start with member service. Our first priority is always the focus we place on our members. Every decision we make is grounded in how we can best serve the membership by being available to take in-person telephone calls, make appointments, and provide a suite of products and services that meet our members' needs. As I go through this list, I ask that the members keep in mind that our decisions are made with a member-first philosophy and a healthy balance between credit union values and risk-based management. We are always here for our members. COVID changed the landscape for basically everyone, and it took a while for the industry to gain traction and understand what needed to be done. There was a huge amount of collaboration in the industry to ensure best practices, though each credit union decided on their own path. Health and safety of the membership and staff became the most urgent priority, and in March 2020, we implemented our strategic plan, or our pandemic plan. We followed BC health guidelines and WorkSafe BC requirements, where we added the required COVID safety plan. We did not implement closures or work from home procedures. We did everything we could to maintain, to stay open for business, and we chose other measures. And those other measures included reduced hours and split shifting for 3 months from April to July, plexiglass, social distancing, enhanced cleaning measures, and of course, masks. Right now, COVID continues to affect everything we do. We continue to do all we can and move through this phase with hope for better days ahead as the vaccinations take place. Moving on to the board reporting enhancements. The board reviewed the strategic plan in 2019 and again in 2020, and new strategic priorities were developed in those 2 years. Those priorities focused on information technology enhancements, better reporting and data measurement, maintaining and enhancing strong relationships with regulatory bodies, and human resource policy enhancement and updating. Specifically, the board enhanced oversight with additional committee meetings, monitoring trend analysis through quarterly reporting, regular meetings with the board chair and CEO, and increased information packages at monthly board meetings. Through this process, several new policies were drafted and approved, which strengthened the board's oversight, thus leading to a stronger and more robust operating environment. The board has been supportive and great to work with, and I appreciate every one of them for the contributions they make, and I respect the loads of time they put in over the past couple of years to make our credit union a great place to do business and a great place to work. Human resources. I want to talk about human resources now, but first I want to start by saying that what a great job our staff have done over the past year. They've been excellent, and considering the internal changes we've gone through with COVID front and center, our staff have risen to the challenge. I've worked for Creston and District Credit Union now for almost 23 years, and for the first 20 years, change was slow and steady, primarily in technology. Then, in 2018, discussion of significant changes in technology began circulating the industry, while at RCU Credit Union, many of the long-term staff began retiring. It has been a steady flow of retirements, hiring, and training ever since. Behind the scenes, the last 3 years have been most transformational at our credit union. Our industry is experiencing rapid technological evolution, and COVID has enhanced the speed of those changes. The combination of those changes in industry to meet member demands and the change in staffing due to retirements has created challenges and opportunities. Approximately 50% of our staff have retired or moved on to other pursuits. The senior staff have had to manage the combination of technological changes along with staffing changes. The junior staff have had to manage that and have been learning and training in their roles in addition. Many roles change as people retire or leave, so training is a constant and ongoing feature. It hasn't all been easy. We've had some bumpy periods, but we worked through the rough patches, and I am optimistic that we're moving in the right direction. Management and staff worked together to increase communication, and in a COVID world, our team is doing the best they can, and I commend all of them in their effort. Moving on to 2020 IT improvements. In 2020, we have added remote deposit capture, which is the check picture taking, new foreign exchange software, new software for wire transfers. We spent approximately 9 months moving to a virtual private network, and we began our project to modernize our delivery channels with a new website, new online banking application, and a new mobile banking application. And that is expected to complete, as Jim mentioned earlier, in about the last quarter of this year. We're constantly trying to improve the way we do things and the services we provide to our members, which is so important to staying competitive in the current financial environment. We also updated our business continuity plan. Our business plan for 2020 included an upgrade to our disaster recovery plan, not knowing that in March, COVID would be upon us. We hired a consulting firm specializing in business continuity plan development, and we worked through the latter half of 2020 updating providing and developing an updated version. And we're very pleased with our BCP. And since this is an ongoing and living document, we'll be working to keep the plan current and updated. I'd like to now move on to talk to you about some graphs that we're going to present. Membership summary is next. So what I wanted to do is, there it is. Okay, so what I wanted to do next is to talk about our membership. So what's been occurring over the last 5 years is that membership has declined about 6.4% since about 2016. But since we implemented our strategic plan, the rate of decline has slowed somewhat, and it's trending at around 1.2% right now. What's occurred is our focus has not really been on the serious growth of membership. What we've been trying to do mainly is manage our asset growth along with our membership growth. So when you get your assets per member, like our assets have grown about 17.8% since 2016, and our assets per member have grown about 25% since 2016. So the focus is not so much how many members we have, but the focus is truly always on trying to get as much of the membership who does business with us doing as much business as possible. And that's what this graph is showing. And we're seeing that trend rising, and we're pretty successful in that. And we appreciate all the business our members do with us. The next chart is assets. Assets grew about 13.2% or 19.1 million. Are significant. We had quite a bit of growth in cash and cash equivalents of about 19.5 million, and we had pretty solid loan growth, which will be explained on the next chart. So the asset base, you can see, has grown pretty substantially this past year, and a lot of that has to do with people not being able to do a lot, and a lot of that is people are saving more money. Loans, loan growth of 9.1% or $7.4 million. Roughly equivalent growth from personal loans and commercial loans is something we experienced, so they're about the same. And loan growth slowed in the March and April time period due to the COVID outbreak. However, it stabilized, and we've had quite the strong year. In the Valley, retail mortgages have been really strong, and confidence in business has been very strong. The lumber industry and such has been very, very strong. So we were busy most of the year. Our deposit growth was about 15.2% or 18.4 million. Deposits grew as members replaced spending with savings, likely due to COVID restrictions. Additional deposits came from CERB and CEBA, deposits supported by the government programs. And income. Consolidated income was about 1.4 million or 1.04 million. Branch income was about $465,000 and subsidiary income at $575,000. Now I'd like to move to the outlook for 2021. As you can see, it's pretty much carrying on from 2020. Member service always remains our top priority, and it will be the basis for all we do moving forward. COVID remains top of mind, as does member and staff health and safety. Moving forward on the strategic plan, we will be updating and modernizing those delivery channels with a new website, online banking application, and new mobile banking application. As usual, we continue to have retirements. Several staff members continue training and taking on new roles. And we're also doing the Strong Pack, which is improving the personal access code strength requirements on our website. We expect that to be completed close to the end of the second quarter. And we're also implementing a new telephone system. So those are activities that we're working on right now. Now to conclude, it's an understatement to say that 2020 has been an unusual year. COVID saw to that. And along the way, we were challenged by many issues. What struck me is how well everyone managed through the most difficult adjustments in our daily lives. Teamwork, community, and values aren't just words on a sheet of paper. They are actions I saw every day during the course of the past year by our board, our managers, and our staff. We do all this because we value our great membership and this credit union, and we are grateful that you choose us for your financial needs. I'm proud to live in Creston, and I'm grateful to hang around a great group of people every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Lawrence. So the motion is to approve the President and CEO's report for the 2021 CDCU Annual General Meeting. Moved by Don Tarrant, seconded by Rick Minicello. If there's any discussion arising from this motion, please enter your comment or question in the chat now. You will have 30 seconds. So please make your vote on this motion to approve. Sorry, there's a question.
Jim.
Sorry.
There is a question from Ann Jackson. She says, both of you mentioned mandatory mask wearing, but some staff are allowed to wear chin shields. Why?
Chin shields is part of the mandatory mask. It's the same. It's considered similar. So we accept that as a mask wearing.
Okay.
Repeat that.
Let's say it again, sorry.
I said the chin shields and masks are considered the same thing for us, and we consider that to be part of the mandatory mask wearing.
Okay.
So please make your vote on this motion to the poll on your screen. You'll have 30 seconds to respond. And that motion is carried. So auditor's report. Ashley Ruggiero, partner, Grant Thornton, and Stuart Grant, senior manager of Grant Thornton, are going to present the auditor's report.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for having us tonight. So I'm Ashley Ruggiero. I'm a partner with Grant Thornton, and Stuart Grant. He'll go through the numbers. I'll go through the our audit report, just kind of summarize. And I know Lawrence did a good job of summarizing, so there might be a little bit of repeat, but regardless, we'll go through what we have. So the report is on I think it's on the next slide. Next, yeah, there we go. So this is the summarized consolidated financial statements, and they're derived from the audited consolidated financial statements that Lawrence referred to as being on the website of the Creston District Credit Union as of December 31st, 2020. So in our opinion, these financial statements are a fair summary of those financial statements. However, these financial statements do not contain all of the disclosures required by International Financial Reporting Standards, otherwise known as IFRS, so shouldn't be a substitute for reading the credit union's audited consolidated financial statements and the auditor's report that is available. But we do want to mention that the most important part, we did express an unmodified audit opinion on those consolidated financial statements in our report dated March 23rd, 2021. So basically that just means we gave a clean audit opinion, no reservations, no modifications. So that's what you're looking for, so gold star. And I will pass it on to Stuart if we want to go to the next page, and we'll just summarize a little bit of how the audit went and some of the variances that are there.
Perfect. Thank you, Ashley. As Ashley mentioned, my name is Stuart Grant. I'm a senior manager with Grant Thornton. So moving on to the summarized consolidated statement of financial position. In looking at the total assets increased this year by 19 million. This increase was mainly a result of an increase of 19.5 million in cash, with more cash being kept on hand at Central One, and this is being done for liquidity purposes. Looking down the statement of financial position, investments decreased by approximately 7.56 million, mainly as a result of a decrease in term deposits held at Central One and decreases in guaranteed investment certificates. The loan portfolio, as Lawrence mentioned, grew in the year by 7.4 million. This is primarily as a result of an increase in residential mortgage growth of 4 million and an increase in commercial mortgages of 4 million, which was offset by a slight decrease in other commercial lending of 617,000. Everything else within the assets remained fairly consistent, with a slight decrease in capital assets down this year just due to amortization of 23,000. Investments in associates decreased 200,000 to the repayments of shareholder loans from Growth Financial, which was offset by the income earned in growth. We then arrive at our consolidated asset balance of 163 million. And then moving on, we look down at the total liabilities. Total liabilities have increased by 18.3 million this year. This increase is primarily the result of 18.4 million increase in deposits. And the increase in deposits is due to the impacts of COVID. So this year we saw less travel, less vacation, less discretionary spending. Members were receiving CEBA and CERB payments. So these increases were primarily seen through increases in demand deposits of 22.7 million, which was offset by a decrease in term deposits of 5.7 million and a slight increase in TFSA and RSP accounts. Payables and other accrued liabilities decreased by 178,000 due to increases in trade payables, primarily a result of costs associated with the Forge project, which is being completed in conjunction with Central One. This decrease was offset by patronage and dividends payable at year end. The deferred income tax liability decreased by 5,000, which is just a result of fluctuations in the loan allowance. And then the current year taxes payable changed from a receivable in the prior year to a payable in the current year. Moving on, your total equity increased by approximately 848,000, which is a combination of your net income for the year of 1 million and the redemptions of 193,000 in member shares, which we'll see on the consolidated statement of equity. Moving on to the next page or next slide. So we've got the consolidated, summarized consolidated statement of earnings. The financial income increased slightly from the prior year with a change of 117,000. This increase has primarily resulted to increased interest on loans due to the growth in the loan portfolio in the year. The financial expenses have also decreased slightly in the year. This decrease of 20,000 is mainly a result of increased interest expenses related to increase in the deposits. Other income decreased by 482,000. The main reason for this decrease is decrease in account service fees, decreases in foreign exchange rates, and decreases in commission from insurance and greater losses on investments this year. Operating expenses remain relatively consistent with the prior year with a change of only 33,000. And then netting with the expenses with the revenue leaves the credit union with earnings before income taxes of 1.2 million, which is also the comprehensive income, a slight increase from the prior year. Removing the taxes of 180,000 from this year, this year's earnings number leaves you with 1,041,000 in net earnings for the year and a slight decrease of 181,000 compared with the prior year. The next two statements are the statements of consolidated changes in members' equity and the statement of cash flows. The statement of changes in members' equity shows the changes in the members' shares in the year, a decrease of 27,000, and the 193,000 and the earnings of 1,041,000 this year. The combined statement of cash flows shows the uses of cash throughout the year. And these statements conclude the summarized financial statement for the year 2020. And I will pass it back to the chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley and Stuart. So the motion is to approve the auditor's report for December 31st, 2020, presented at the April 29th, 2021 CDCU Annual General Meeting. Moved by Carrie Czar, seconded by Don Lowe. If there's any discussion arising from this motion, please enter your comment or question in the chat now. You will have 30 seconds. Please make your vote on this motion to the poll on your screen. You'll have 30 seconds to respond. That motion is carried. And that motion is carried. So to view the full Creston District Credit Union 2020 Consolidated Financial Statements and Annual Report, please visit our website at cdcu.com and visit the tab About Us and then Corporate Reports. Printed copies of the 2020 Annual Report are available at the branch. If you have any questions or if you cannot view any or all of the reports, please contact the CDCU tomorrow and ask for our friend Darlene. So the motion to approve the 2020 financial statements for December 31st, 2020 presented at the April 29th, 2021 CDCU Annual General Meeting. Moved by Kara Materi, seconded by Don Tarrant. If there is any discussion arising from this motion, please enter your comment or question in the chat now. You will have 30 seconds. Please make your vote on this motion to the poll on your screen. You'll have 30 seconds to respond. And that motion is carried. Appointment of the auditor for 2021. So the motion is to approve the appointment of Grant Thornton, LLP, as auditor for the Creston District Credit Union's consolidated financial statements for 2021, and that the board of directors be empowered to fix the audit fees. Moved by Carol Materi, second by Don Lowe. If there's any discussion arising from this motion, please enter your comment or question in the chat now. You will have 30 seconds. Please make your vote on this motion to the poll on your screen. You'll have 30 seconds to respond. Thank you. And that motion is carried. Thank you. So at this point in the program, we have the nominating committee report for 2021 will now be presented by Don Lowe, our committee chair.
Good evening. I'm Don Lowe, the chair of the nominating committee. I'd like to acknowledge my fellow directors, Carrie Czar, Rick Minicello, Jim Reichman, and Rob Simpson for serving on this committee with me. At the close of this meeting, the terms for directors Carol Materi and Don Tarrant will expire. The nominating committee has accepted the nominations of these directors to seek re-election. In keeping with the rules of our credit union, the notice of director nominations was mailed to the membership on January 22nd, 2021. The closing date for the director nominations was February 26th, 2021. Prior to closing, an additional nomination came in. So as we have 2 vacancies to fill, an election will take place. The nominees for this election are Keith Goforth, Carol Materi, and Don Tarrant. So we need a motion to approve the nominating committee report, moved by myself, Don Lowe, seconded by Rob Simpson. If there's any discussion arising from this motion, please enter your comment or question in the chat now. You will have 30 seconds. Please make your vote on this motion to the poll on your screen. You will have 30 seconds to respond. The motion is carried. So as I said, the current directors running for re-election are Carol Materi and Don Tarrant, and we have a director nominee, Keith Goforth. So these are the terms and conditions for director elections. In accordance with the Creston District Credit Union rules, including but not limited to, for the purposes of being eligible to vote in the election, a person must be a member, other than a junior member, in good standing 91 days prior to the date on which balloting is to commence. Voting in an election of directors shall be by secret ballot in person at a general meeting. So for this year's purposes, at this Zoom AGM. A ballot must contain votes for the number of persons to be elected, and any ballot indicating another intention is void. Shall announce at the annual general meeting at which the election was held the results of the election and the number of votes obtained by each candidate. An alphabetic listing of the candidates and the number of votes received by each shall be posted in the credit union and shall remain posted for 3 clear business days. So I have a motion to approve the terms and conditions for the Board of Director elections, moved by Rick Minichillo, seconded by Carrie Czar. If there's any discussion arising from this motion, please enter your comment or question in the chat now. You will have 30 seconds.
So Dawn, we do have a question from the floor from Kelly Main. She's asking, what is meant by 3 clear days?
I don't presume that living in Creston, that means it has to be sunny or overcast. I believe that means it has to be 3 24-hour periods in a sense that cover an open office day. So please make your vote on this motion to the poll on your screen. You will have 30 seconds to respond. The motion is carried. So the nominating committee has given each candidate 5 minutes to make a personal presentation here at the AGM. Our first presentation will be from nominee Keith Goforth.
Okay, is that a go ahead then?
Yes, it is.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be speaking to you, fellow credit union members. My name is, as Don mentioned, Keith Goforth. I grew up with 5 older brothers and a sister who was out of the house by my arrival. As a youth, I learned how to earn money, picking up bottles, delivering newspapers. Later, I collected copper and brass at the dump and sold it to the recycler. In 1989, I married Joy Nance, and she shared her 4 children with me. We then had 4 more to fill the 4 bunk beds we purchased. Good thing we had 4 boys and 4 girls. She has been a great support during our 31 years of marriage. I didn't obtain a university degree. However, Joy has shared hers with me over the time we spent together. We purchased our first house in 1989 with 17 broken windows. I thought, what an opportunity. We set a goal to pay for it in 5 years. We met that goal. We started a satellite business called Red Star Satellite. We didn't have a storefront, but outsold the 2 other businesses that did. One of our company ads was faxed across Canada, and it did very well. The president of Bell Express wanted a picture of our ad for his office. Over the course of my life, I have had an entrepreneurial spirit, owning and operating 5 businesses and buying and selling many properties. We moved to Creston in 2000. Our net worth at that time was about $200,000. We have increased it by 10-fold since that time. We've used a few different financial institutions to meet our purchases and goals. Creston has been very good to me. I want to give back to our community through the process of being a director for the credit union and district credit union. In reading over the milestones of the credit union, in 1951, the credit union was established. And in 1962, the membership reached 1,000 members. And another milestone in 2010 was $1 million in assets. People work hard for the money. It's a sacred trust. Financial institutions have to support smart initiatives. This credit union has done exactly that. However, I've asked for the records from the last 10 years on memberships. And over the last years, we've had a decline in membership, over 500 members. That's a 9.3 drop. And that's noteworthy. We don't want to drop members. Members are our greatest assets. Numbers do matter. I feel I can put in initiatives to help turn that around. As I've had some successful campaigning in the past in business ventures, I feel I can do the same to help the credit union. I've done a lot of volunteering, and I like volunteering. That's why I want this position. I did, I volunteered for firemen for 10 years in Lillooet, a scout leader for 7 years. I've worked with youth at young age, grade 9 through 12 seminary, and been dedicated to helping them help themselves. Now, I feel that I talked to the College of the Rockies, and I feel that we could get a program started as early as this fall on fiscal literacy. And that would do a lot to help out young families and people just starting to learn how to manage money. I feel I can be a catalyst to increase the membership. I would set a goal of 100 new memberships for the next 5 years. People are our greatest asset. I have the time, energy, and experience. If you elect me, you won't be disappointed. I'll give great energy to further the great cause of this cooperative, the Creston Valley District Credit Union. I really would like this opportunity. I think I have a lot to bring to the table. Like I've said, I've worked with many different financial institutions. I've learned a lot from them on obtaining and trying to reach my goals. And I feel positive that my different experiences in the business world and working with people and having a desire to help others help themselves would make me a great asset to the team. So I ask you to vote for me. I'm new, but I'll prove myself fast, and it'll be a worthy goal if should you elect me. And I appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. Our next presentation is from nominee Carol Materi.
Let's start that over. Sorry, everybody. We had no sound. Thank you for all the comments in the chat there. Let's start that over. No. Do we want to have somebody read?
You'll have, can she not do it? She's on the Zoom meeting, right?
Carol, are you able to join, or did you want to have one of us just read?
Are we live? We're working on it. I'm writing.
Is that Carol?
No, that's the video stuff.
Okay, so
You go back to the meeting and ask Carol.
Carol, are you able to read your presentation without video?
Want me to jump in?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Let you read your speech. Sorry about that.
Okay. Okay, you can hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Good evening. I've been a credit union member for 48 years and had the pleasure of serving as a board member of this credit union for the past 28 years. I have sat on literally every committee at one time or another and chaired many of them. I have held the position of both chair and vice chair. For 14 years, I've been on the board of directors for our insurance arm, Growth Financial. Throughout my life, I've worn many hats. I started out as an executive secretary to the president of an engineering firm in Winnipeg and then in Vancouver. I married and became a stay-at-home mom for about 12 years. After that, I started a wedding business in Kelowna. Upon moving to Creston, I worked part-time at the library for 4 years. I was a guard at the local RCMP detachment for about 5 years and served 11 years in the Army Reserve as a captain and worked with the local cadet corps. I am community-minded. I've been one of the founding members of 2 genealogical groups and taught many genealogy classes throughout the years. I volunteered with the MS group, been a member of the Garden Festival Committee, and been a member of the Creston Rotary Club. For the past 21 years, I have worked as a volunteer with the RCMP Restorative Justice Program and have been the coordinator of that program for 17 years. The job of a director is not to deal with the day-to-day, but to plan long range. The CEO looks after the day-to-day, the operations, and makes his decisions accordingly. We okay what he is to do. The board decides the direction we want to go, and the CEO makes it happen. Being a director for the credit union is much more than attending a meeting a month and our yearly AGM. There are credit committee meetings and there are courses to be taken. Time is important and traveling is very much involved. Twice a year, a peer group meeting is held throughout the Kootenays. Under normal non-COVID times, Central One's AGMs are held either in Toronto or Vancouver, and many courses are held in cities throughout the province. Now we do go to those meetings and courses on Zoom, but hopefully we'll get back to some sort of normal and travel again and be face to face. I enjoy taking the courses and hope to take many more of them. I love the travel and I have the freedom to do so. I can focus on the project at hand. I can take the lead when necessary. I am organized and I can manage my time efficiently. I can see the bigger picture and plan strategically. I am committed to what I do and I do it. I try not to spread myself too thin. I have an excellent attendance record and I can get along with others. I believe in the credit union. Our credit union did well when we faced the economic meltdown of 2008 and 9. And once again, we are facing an unknown future with this pandemic, the world economy being in disarray, political unrest in many parts of the world, and who knows what else. And we will have to deal with all of those upcoming challenges. The decisions we make will be in the best interest of you, the member, making sure that our credit union remains profitable and continues to be successful. I have the time to put into this job and I enjoy working with this board. So I'm asking you tonight to support me and to vote to allow me to continue with this board and to help our credit union move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol, and we apologize to the members for the technical difficulties. The final presenter is nominee Don Tarrant.
You ready? Good evening. For those people who don't know me, my name is Don Tarrant, and for the past 12 years, I've been your director working for you, for your credit union. So the question arises, why should you vote for me? First of all, is experience. So in the past 12 years, 5.5 of those years, I've been chair of the board of directors. 2 years, I was vice chair of the board of directors, and I've also been secretary of the board of directors. Of the 7 different committees, I have served on every one of them, and I've chaired every one time or another. So I bring that experience to the board table. I'm also a director on Growth Financial, and Growth Financial is the insurance wealth management arm of the credit union. And as Lawrence alluded to, it does very well for the credit union, so it does very well for you. And finally, I'm your representative of the Peer Group 3 Committee. Peer Group 3 Committee consists of the credit unions from Grand Forks to Golden, all the credit unions in the Kootenays. And as committee member, we arrange training and we work with each credit union to collaborate. So I bring a wealth of experience to the board table, but I also bring a lot of expertise. In the last 12 years, I've completed 33 credit union approved courses. I've just completed another one this month on anti-money laundering. I'm an accredited Canadian credit union director. I'll repeat that. I'm an accredited Canadian credit union director. And I got that accreditation because of the number of courses and the types of courses I've taken. Knowledge is so important when you get at the board table. We're so fortunate at the Creston Credit Union because we have 7 directors with a wide range of background and a very cohesive group. I mean, we've got Rick Menichello, who's an accountant. We have Rob Simpson, who's an educator and expert in IT. We have Don Lowe, who's been in the agriculture industry most of his life. And each one of our directors, he or she, brings that expertise to the table. As soon as I finish here, you're going to be asked to vote for only two directors. I'm asking for your vote. I'm asking you that the first mark you put on your electronic ballot be next to my name, Don Tarrant, which will be the 3rd one on the list. Finally, I hope next year we can have actually a face-to-face AGM, so we get rid of Zoom and get rid of electronics and be able to talk face-to-face. And finally, thank you for taking this evening on this nice day to attend our meeting, even though it is electronically. I now pass this back to Don Lowe.
Thank you. So I just want to go over a little bit more of the procedures here. In the event of a tie, there will be another poll vote to break the tie. Members are to only vote for one of the two nominees who were tied. Votes for the nominee who has already been declared a winner will be considered a spoiled ballot. As per credit union rules 4.29, if the number of votes is less than 5 between the losing candidate or the bottom candidate and the successful candidate, a recount may be requested in writing by the losing candidate within 5 business days following the AGM. No official recount will be initiated for any purpose other than determining the successful candidate for election, and only the votes, including any spoiled or rejected ballots affecting those candidates whose election may be in doubt, shall be considered during the recount. So now for the election. We want to assure you that even though this is done through Zoom, your votes are anonymous. Please place your votes for the following nominees in the corresponding poll on your screen. You may only select 2. If you select more than 2, your ballot will be spoiled. So the 3 candidates are Keith Goforth, Carol Materi, and Dawn Tarrant. Please place your votes to the poll on your screen. You will have 30 seconds to respond. So the time has passed. The results are
We have 16 votes for Keith Goforth
16 votes for Keith Goforth. I can see
out of 107 who have voted.
out of 107,
90 for Carol Materi,
90 for Carol Materi,
and 100 for Dawn Tarrant.
and 100 for Dawn Tarrant. So I would like to
Sorry about that, everybody. Change screens on me. There we go.
I would like to thank Keith Goforth for putting taking an interest and the time to put his name forward for a nomination. And I would like to congratulate our other nominee winners. I think there's a motion I have to make. So the motion is to approve the election results for the Board of Director elections. Moved by Carrie Czar, seconded by Rick Minicello, that Carol Materi and Dawn Tarrant are elected to the Board of Directors. If there's any discussion arising from this motion, please enter your comment or question in the chat now. You will have 30 seconds. Please make your vote on this motion to the poll on your screen. You will have 30 seconds to respond. So the motion is carried. And I'll turn the time back over to our chair, Jim Reichman.
So congratulations to Carol and Dawn. Thank you, Keith, for showing interest in our credit union. So at this time, the 2021 recognition awards are going to be presented by Lawrence, our Good and Welfare, and congratulations to Kim and Carrie, Darlene, Kelly, Sharon, and Kelsey. Amazing, amazing.
So tonight I have the pleasure of recognizing several of our staff members for their service to our credit union. These people are Kim Appleton, Manager Administration, 25 years, Diamond Pendant. Carrie Morris, Loan Script, 25 years, Diamond Pendant. Darlene Wynn, Administrative Assistant, 20 years, Emerald Pendant. Kelly Marshall, Financial Service Representative, Lending, 15 years, Onyx Pendant. Sharon Newton, teller, 15 years, Onyx Pendant. And Kelsey Belani, Member Service Representative, 5 years, Sapphire Pendant. Time flies. These 6 great employees are long-serving, and as you can see, 2 of them have 25 years with their credit union. When the longest serving started with us, our asset size was around 30 million. Today, over the last month, it's been over 170 million. So these people work very hard to serve our membership, and we trust and rely on them to do good work for us. They do great work for us. We appreciate all of them, and we are very fortunate to have them working with us. I hope we can be here 5 years from now to do this again. Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you, Lawrence. Again, amazing recognition. So door prize. The door prize draw. Members who have registered and attended the 2021 Creston District Credit Union virtual AGM will be entered into a draw for door prizes of 500, 300, and 200. Winners will be announced on the Creston and District Credit Union website and will be contacted by phone. So before I ask for a motion for adjournment, I would like to thank Darlene for putting together our AGM virtual meeting this evening. And thank you again for your patience with me. Thank you, Lawrence and Kim, and all of our staff for your continued and ongoing dedication. You're absolutely amazing. The board of directors, I thank you as well for your hard work, and a huge thank you to our faithful membership for yet another very successful year. We will be celebrating our 70th anniversary later this year. We are currently working on those anniversary plans. Have a very good evening. Thank you very much for attending. Please stay safe and healthy. So the motion to approve the adjournment of the 2021 Creston District Credit Union Annual General Meeting, moved by Rob Simpson, second by Don Tarrant. Please make your vote on this motion to the poll on your screen. You'll have 30 seconds to respond. And that motion is carried. Thank you again, and have a great evening.